and rising, and what it do, buddies? Goode is obviously, to those who are awake, is definitely a big name, and somebody I occasionally bop around and keep my eyes on. And I was looking at this video, and first of all, in the comments, it was like, pretty quickly, he was getting shit talked on him for that Christmas tree. And I've watched a lot of people's videos of people who have Christmas trees in backgrounds, and I'm going, what the fuck? Like, you say you're conscious, but you have Christmas trees up still. But I will say that this is the first year I was like, sorry everybody, I'm not putting the fucking Christmas tree up. And I'll honestly probably end up feeling bad about that forever, because I know he has at least one kid, and just because you wake up doesn't mean that the other people in your family understand. And it's really hard. Like, it's really hard to just cold turkey be like, well, fuck everything that has to do with witchcraft. And so that's what I have to say about the Christmas tree, because like I said, I feel bad. Now, it's like everybody says shit that makes sense, and then I don't know. Goode, he has a lot of points and shit, but he said something in this interview where, I was just like, how? So here we go. Little piece.
I think that covers everything. Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's do the Q&A.
All right. So we could start out with a question. You had mentioned that the AI prophet groups are trapped in two star systems right now that they consider their strongholds, which is our own star system and Aldebaran. And so, do you have any more details about what's going on with Aldebaran? And there's also some other questions about here, such as, or is there a possibility for the negative entities to escape to Aldebaran and have that be their stronghold again?
I don't know exactly how things are playing out on Aldebaran. If
Taurus.
At some point it's going to have a solar event, I don't know how things are playing out there. Things here are still like pretty much where I left off. Not a whole lot. Most of the big show right now is on Earth, and everybody's asking me for SSP Alliance updates and all of that. And whenever I hear anything, it's status quo. They are still, groups are still fighting their way towards Earth, expected to be here, and 2028 to 2030, the time frame, whatever time frames I gave before. All of the information I've really given has brought us up to 2028, when all of the big stuff is really going to start happening on Earth and this in the solar system. So right now, the solar system is still locked down. The Orion group is still in control. It's in control of Earth. Earth hasn't been liberated. The Orion group Greys haven't been kicked out. And to be honest, we have a pretty good bead on what, the reptilians are, the insectoids and other groups. Some of them come from other dimensions, I guess. Some of them come from other planets, possibly within this universe. But the consensus about the grays is really changing within the programs. Whatever being this is, some of them are thinking could be what we've been referring to, the AI, but more and more of them are coming to the conclusion that we have so many different things going on, phenomenon going on. We have actual aliens visiting us. We have weird ultra-dimensional rift things happening on the planet that cause weird phenomenon. There's so much to this. There's disclosure. You're going to have to say, when you say disclosure, what are UAPs? Well, there are UAPs that come from flesh and blood aliens, and there are some that are like, it's really, I've had this discussion with a few people, and it's really messed with, their ideas on their kind of the religious and ideology, but there appears to be some sort of beings on this planet that we don't know what they are. It seems like almost like they're a cosmic elemental, like the elemental beings that we have in the forest, but these seem to have come from the cosmos. And they've been here a very long time. And they have the ability to be non-material and material. They can just think themselves into material being in our plane. And this, whatever this is, supposedly, and this is the information that's going to come out eventually, is that whatever this force, whatever this is, this presence, it has been appearing to humanity for tens of thousands of years in different ways. It appeared to people for a long period of time as like Greek or Roman gods. Supposedly, whatever it is, appeared to people as fairies and other different, angels, and they've appeared to us as all sorts of things up until closer to this technological era, when things now they're presenting themselves to us as sci-fi ships. It comes like right out of our mind from sci-fi. These ships that they're in, the insides of the ships, everything. There's something that's not right, that a lot of the people haven't been able to put their finger on, and it has a spiritual connotation to it. It has a long-term development connotation, with humans and civilization and religion. And it's getting more confusing instead of more clear as we're getting these various disclosures. We're getting various high-level briefings and information through more of the Earth type sources that have been investigating this for a while. It's a mind screw. I mean, one of the hardest things that's been messing with my head, quite honestly, for the last year, is that military intelligence, of course, they come into the UFO community to seed disinformation and to cause fights and little things. But guess what? So does this force or ET, whatever this is. It comes in and appears to people in different ways, gives some conflicting information, and is manipulating, the community and people within it. And it's pretty freaking scary. It's, they've used those tactics on me and others that I know. And a lot of us have started to figure certain things out. And the people in the programs, the top people that have been giving briefings recently, there's conflicting ideas. There's a lot of confusion occurring because there are so many layers to what's going on this planet. So many, it's like dimensional onion layers of what's going on when it comes to like cryptids, human consciousness in general, and how it's being manipulated. How whatever these supposed cosmic elementals are that appear in different ways, that they've been using the earth as a way to attract souls, to give them a unique experience, trick them by saying that, giving them a unique experience to grow, and attracting souls here, imprisoning souls here, and using souls for what we're not totally sure. We're not totally sure what this is that we're dealing with, because part of it is alien, part of it is something else, and they can't figure it out. So the more disclosure we get, even within the programs, the more confusion we're having, not more clarity. So I can, when a lot of this stuff starts dumping on the general population, wow, if some of us in the community can't make heads or tails of it, it's going to be confusing. So, the Alliance is working with these dozens of whistleblowers to release things in more of a controlled way, because, quite honestly, some of them feel it is their moral obligation to prepare us for what is happening in 2027 or 2028, depending on who you ask. Some sort of, we're going to start learning more and more. Some of it's going to be disturbing. It's going to lead up to whatever this event is in 2027, 2028, according to all of these people. They're all repeating very similar stuff. So in the past, I've been given bad information, and people say, Corey's predictions failed. I don't give predictions. I just report what I'm hearing. If missions fail, if things don't happen, that's just part of it. But there's too much chatter about preparing civilization for some sort of introduction to a non-human intelligence.
Thank you, Corey. Yeah, we went into a few different subjects there, and we had on the Secret Space Program Updates series, we had talked about the extra-dimensional influence that you recently learned about, and I think I'm going to put some of that more of those episodes onto the YouTube channel for more people to get more background on what we were talking about there. I assume that's partly what you were referencing in terms of us not understanding exactly what we're dealing with. That's one of the new layers that was discovered.
Yeah, people in the programs, a lot of the people, there's a lot of them still. I thought they were out, but there's still a lot of them in the programs that have more of conservative Christian and that kind of beliefs. And the people that are giving them briefings, of course, are, like high-level Masons and others. And whatever this extra dimension, whatever this is, they're referring to them as the architects, that's just their spin on it. But they're giving the briefings to these, generals, and a lot of them are retired and they're working in industry now. They're giving them these briefings about there's a trickster being, or trickster beings on this planet presenting themselves differently to different people, and they just say it's the devil. These are demons. Don't look into this. Don't just stay away from this. No. This is really what they believe fervently. You know what? They might be right. Because really, what's the difference? If it's an extra-dimensional evil being tricking us and we named it the devil a long time ago? I don't know. But anyway,
I feel like that all plays into the Thothian trickster Leviathan collective. Like I said, when I went through what I went through, there was something about September of 2029, like humanity needs to wake the fuck up quicker. And these people talking about 2027, 2028, I'm going to stick with there's something fucking gonna happen by September 2029. And I think we're almost to the point that I wanted to bring up.
these people are really freaking out, and they're really trying to keep certain information out of the public because of their fears of biblical Armageddon and all sorts of other things. We're all projecting. All of us are guilty of it. You, me, everyone watching. We're projecting our own fears or beliefs or ideology onto what's happening right now.
That is such a good point. I spend so much time every day just projecting an outcome where everybody ends up being okay. Where I don't see a tsunami, like a real bad tsunami, where I don't see bad shit. Like, I just imagine every day that somehow everybody ends up being all right, because it's bad.
And that's happening in the programs as well. And a lot of them are really freaked out. The more they're learning, the more they're realizing that maybe we don't even have the capacity to understand part of what's going on. We may not have the capacity to understand. And that might be why it's presenting itself to us in certain ways. But yeah, I mean, this is a lot of new stuff for me too. And I've had to rearrange my reality and understanding of reality quite a bit over the last year. And it's been, it's been pretty interesting.
So, and to clarify, some of this is just coming from Earth sources and not the higher density beings. But have you gotten more of an insight from any higher density beings on some of these mysterious influences?
No, I have not. I have not had the contact in a while with them. But like I said, it's always sporadic. It happens in clusters, and then I'll go long periods of time and maybe have a dream or two, but that's about it. And I'm in one of those periods right now. And as a matter of fact, the Earth Alliance briefings have really changed quite a bit. I can say now because they're not happening. There were periodic bridge calls to where you wouldn't believe who all were on these calls, giving almost like a roundtable of briefings, and like all no questions, or just a roundtable of briefings. And certain people with certain clearances were allowed to call in to this coded whatever type of call, and some of them allowed other people to listen in that they probably shouldn't. And for a while, I was allowed to listen in on certain calls, but those are no longer occurring. So the information I get is kind of, it's kind of the same. I won't get information for a little while, and then I'll just get a spurt, of information. But pretty much they have all refocused in the Alliance to work behind these whistleblowers. And they're working also, people that aren't they're working on having some other bombshell leaks occur next year with documentation and kind of old video, older video, older than 20 or 30 years old, maybe coming out from like 50s, 60s, or 70s or something. There's some sort of time, like 20, 30-year time buffer that they're kind of trying to be responsible with. I don't know why. So some of that's supposed to start coming out next year. Supposed to be very interesting,
Right. That sounds great. I might as well go into a question here that has a lot of assumptions baked into it, but this person says they believe that the white hats could be taking out more of the black hats in the government, and asking why are they not doing that more? Why is there not more activity?
Well, the white hats are up against, they're up against the infrastructure, basically. The black hats control all the infrastructure, all the money. They control everything. The white hats are not making much ground. They haven't been invading tunnels and arresting cabal. All these stories you've been hearing, it's bullshit. And I mean, the Alliance and these types of groups, the White Hats, have been rebuilding and trying to come back together since 2020, when they kind of collapsed. But the same can be said about the community. But yeah, that the White Hats are doing what they can. Mainly, only thing they can do is funnel information right now. They don't have the power to or the resources to pull these fantastic operations that people have been talking about online. They don't have the resources, and they cannot operate within the Dark Hats infrastructure, as they could earlier. Before 2020, they had access to certain parts of the infrastructure, intelligence agencies, and that sort of thing. Everything has changed. Everything's locked down, not only on Earth, but in the whole solar system with the various secret space program groups. It's locked down.
All right. So we have a question here. Have you heard anything about Peru alien attacks?
Yes, actually. One of our friends, someone, I guess, if you've come to our conferences, we talked about a guy we call the General. He's a retired general. It's a friend of ours. Had him look into it, and some of his sources say, yes, this is something really freaky going on down here. And then some of his other sources are like, nah, yeah, nothing to see here. But a crew has gone down to interview the people, and more information is coming out. I do believe something happened down there. Peru is a very major hotspot for negative ET or whatever it is stuff going on. That there's a lot of there is a rich history of negative interaction between UAPs and ETs and people in the jungle in Brazil, Peru. So there's something, there's definitely there are bases of operation or.
This goes into the Miami shit. Like, whatever happened recently, whatever the fuck these things were doing recently, I just don't think that they were thinking that they were going to be seen. But we're also in this 7 years of fucking catastrophe where maybe these things just didn't even give a fuck. But whatever happened in Miami, I really don't think that they thought that was going to be seen by so many people. Because it's like, they don't give a fuck. Like, these governments and stuff, like, they don't give a fuck about Peru and Brazil and shit. Like, when stuff like this is massively visible in the United States, like in Miami, then they send almost 100 cop cars, because the United States is such a sleeping, fragile bunch of fucking people. And as soon as they lose control over the United States citizens, like they are over in Germany and fucking France and shit with these uprisings, like how I've been freaking out, we should all go march on Washington. As soon as the United States stands the fuck up and participates, oh my God, I saw what could happen to this entire world if the United States citizens would stop being fucking lazy, literally brainwashed, lazy, and inactive. It's fucking mind control and denial. Like, whatever.
Some of these whatever beings that we don't quite understand that are down in South America, who knows how long the things have been there. I mean, we had blood sacrifices and all sorts of stuff going on down there that probably fed them. But yeah, I don't know specifically about what's going on. I've seen some interesting information about what's going on with the face peelers and the aliens and stuff in Peru. And I think there's truth to it, but the people in the jungles, their point of view, the way they see things, their religious views on life and all of that play into what they're seeing and what's happening as well. So, we have to, pay attention to that. But I'm definitely paying attention to the story. And if I learn more, I will make it public. Yeah.
Right. We have a relatively interesting question here. I think, I'm not sure if I recall Clifford Stone saying this, but this person thinks that Clifford Stone said that the government doesn't grant aliens rights since they're not from Earth. Therefore, a person can kill an alien and there would be no penalty for that. Is this true? Is it considered murder?
Okay, here's the rest of the video. The part that I keep thinking that he's going to get to in a minute, isn't happening, and I'm kind of over it. But the part I've been waiting for is the part where he's creeped out and he's going, I don't think that we're living, I don't think this is a simulation, but it feels like some kind of a game, like a video game that's been hijacked. And when I heard that, I'm like, I mean, again, it's the people awakened at different levels type shit. I did not know anything before I knew that we were in a fucking simulation. I had never even heard of the simulation theory being spoken about. Was how much I was not expecting anything that fucking happened to me. And, if I'm just fucking, suffering from mental problems and, bad shit, I don't think I could have came up with this many people for other people to check into if I was being guided horrifically, negatively, instantly, fucking instantly. I threw together that Plants vs. Zombies game board where I made everybody these cards. I made a little path for people to help me look at. I created that game board for me and for other people. Instantly had Boza, Indy, Christos Avatar, because a lot of that shit is accurate, and Sarah L. Quality, the Alchemist. Instantly, those fucking people were all in my top 12. And I had no fucking clue what any of them were talking about. That, Sick of Pornhub, check out Spirituality Hub video. I don't know. I'm really pleased with the first crack that I made with trying to come up with some kind of a fucking Candyland game board for people to look at. But, okay, over this. Bye.